At Ontario Motor Speedway, on behalf of USAC and the staff and management of
Ontario Motor Speedway in sunny Southern California is one of the fastest tracks on the championship trail. It's the same shape and 2.5-mile length as Indianapolis. Like Indianapolis, it's a 200-mile-an-hour oval. And that much speed means you want your race car to be razor sharp.
To win at Ontario, you need a fast car, great mechanics, and a car owner who wants to win just as much as you do. Roger Penske is that kind of car owner. His cars have won Indianapolis, and last year won USAC's national driving title.
We have a two-car Indy team this year at Ontario. We have Mario Andretti, of course, is the current World Driving Championship leader, and Tom Sneva, the United States Auto Club champion in 1977. We have our own cars. Penske cars have been built in England, and this is the first time that my team has run with our own car. We've always used a McLaren car, similar to the one Johnny Rutherford will drive, and this year we made the big step to build our own car. Hopefully it'll be the right one.
So in other sports, I think the physical end of it's a little more demanding, and even though you have the experience when you're get close to your 30s, you just don't have the physical ability that it takes to play basketball or whatever. But the difference in racing is the fact that it's such a mental game. Most people aren't aware of the mental fatigue that goes into racing, the concentration it takes. You look at a football or a basketball player, and they're on the court for a few minutes at a time. If you're a football player, you play defense or offense, and you have a play that maybe lasts 10 seconds, and you go to a huddle and get a chance to relax. Well, in racing, you're out there for 3.5 to 4.5 hours in a 500-mile race, and there's just no time to relax. So mentally, you have to concentrate intensely that whole time. So along with the physical fatigue that comes in with the G-forces in the corner and the heat inside the cockpit, you also have this mental fatigue that wears on you. And the drivers, the older drivers are going on experience. They're able to use their head better and make up for the physical deficiencies they have as they get older. I'd say it's about 25% physical and 75% mental. Racing's very specialized now, and I'm hired to drive the car, and that's all they want me doing. But you have to have great communication. It's very important, the team aspect in racing. You have to be able to tell the crew what the car is doing and give them some suggestions on what you think it's going to take to remedy the particular problem you're having that day. So it's important to have great communication. It's very important on how much each corner of the car weighs. We only go around left-hand corners, but the weight in each corner is very critical. And when you get a good setup, you want to know what that weight is. And so you write these things down so you have good records. So the next time you come back, if the car felt good to you when you left, you can go back to that as a baseline and work from there and maybe try to improve upon it. So it's, again, very involved. You know, we talk about the weights in each one of the corners. We talk about the tire sizes. You know, it's important that your left rear maybe is 1/1200th of an inch smaller than the right rear, and if that changes to 16 or 1700ths of an inch, it affects the way the car goes around the corner. So it gets pretty involved, and everybody has to stay sharp too. As the race develops, the track condition changes, the tires change, and so you got to be able to anticipate these changes. And it's the driver that anticipates the changes for that particular day the closest is the guy that's going to be in front at the end of the race. This year, Northern Spirit, we feel some more aerodynamic, lighter, and we've made some suspension changes that help get through the corner a little quicker. So we're very happy. This time of the season, we're a lot farther ahead of the game than we were last year at this time. So looking forward to a good year.
The way I got started in racing was rather conventional way, I would say. I have a twin brother, and he and I just started back in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, where I still make my home. And we, with a bunch of friends, we built our own stock car, and we started driving on a half-mile dirt track. It's certainly going to be a flat-out event. For 200 miles, it's relatively short, so you won't hold back in any way. Still, like any other USAC event, pit work plays a very, very important part. The team is so methodically prepared, and they've done their homework in the testing, and it's showing. Of course, Sneva is a good teammate, but he's a competitor to me. In fact, at the moment, he's my chief competitor. So he can't do me much good once race day rolls around. He's done a lot of good work testing, but again, he's trying to race for himself, and so am I. So again, I haven't really decided whether it's good or bad to have a very strong teammate.
championship car racing has more prestige than any other kind. Yet in one important respect, it's no different than any type of racing. A team willing to work the hardest generally has the best opportunity to win. Checking and rechecking the race car so that it's not just fast, but totally reliable, is the time-consuming job the mechanics are faced with. They're dedicated to their jobs just like we drivers are. Qualifying action coming up, so stay with us.
You can qualify in a championship car race, the better your chance of winning. It's that simple. Put another way, it's easier to start ahead of guys like Tom Sneva and Mario Andretti than to have to pass them during the race.
I sort of compare qualifying to swimming, because when you swim, you close your eyes when you're in the water and you hold your breath, and you do the same thing when you go to qualify, because the speeds are fast, so a lot of things go through your mind. And again, it's just the particular setup. Once you get out on the racetrack, if the setup isn't right, it doesn't matter if you're Superman, you're not going to get the car around there quick enough to be up front. There's a lot of pressure on you because, again, you only have 2 laps, and they take the fastest of those 2 laps, and that determines your qualifying position. But the real importance of the qualifying position is probably for safety rather than anything else. The closer you start to the front, the less chance that you're going to be involved in any incident that could happen. Because if you're in the back of the pack, anything happens in front of you, you're going to be a part of it.
It's Gordon John Cox qualifying with a 45.82 for an average of 196.421 miles per hour, just under the 200-mile margin. Now on course, car number 4, Johnny Rutherford. Building up to speed, looking for the green. Wait a minute, we've got a wave off. Rutherford is waving off. There are problems with Rutherford's car. He came in behind John Cox's car. Crew bent over there. He's got problems. Can they fix it? We're sure they can. We haven't seen the last of Johnny Rutherford. It's a tough break for Johnny Rutherford. Psyched up and ready to go. Now they're going to have to redo that car. But now, out on the course, you know who that is. Big number 7, Mario Andretti. Andretti going after that pole position, trying to set that 200-mile mark. And while Andretti circulates the track, we see Tom Sneva in car number 1 pulling up at the back of the grid, and Sneva is going to have to qualify in his backup car. So his teammate now on the track looking for a 200-mile-an-hour average speed around this track, going for the pole, Mario Andretti. Andretti coming on the straightaway. He is really looking quick. This looks like Andretti's lap. Andretti moving towards that checkered flag, is really pouring it on. Andretti may have it. Now on course, Danny Ongais in car number 25, the Interscope Racing car, going after Mario Andretti's fastest time of day of 44.63 for an average of 201.658. It's Ongais pouring it on, going after Andretti. Danny Ongais, Interscope Racing's hope. Can he do it? Johnny Rutherford in car number 4, now on the track, going after the fastest time so far, Mario Andretti. And Danny Ongais' time was 45.59 for an average of 197.4. He did not beat Andretti's time. Al Unser turned to 45.81 for a 196. These cars close to 200, but Andretti's the man to beat, and Rutherford's the guy going after him right now. Johnny Rutherford, what a tough season he's had this year, but this may be the time when it'll all come together. The guy from Fort Worth, Texas, who tied for 3rd with A.J. Foyt in last year's championship, is out there trying to beat Andretti's time, and he's pouring it on as he hits for that start-finish line. Go get him, Rutherford. The time for Johnny Rutherford in car number 4, a 45.25 for an average of 198.895 miles per hour. That's your second fastest qualifying time behind Andretti. But on the track now, Tom Sneva in the Norton Spirit number 1. Sneva, Andretti's teammate, trying to qualify now in a backup car. However, it is a backup car that during testing and practice was in excess of 200 miles per hour. So Sneva may be able to put it together, going after his teammate's car, Mario Andretti. And Sneva looking extremely smooth as he comes around this track. This could be a good time for Tom Sneva. Hit it for the bits, Tom Sneva, and he's done it. Fastest time of day, 202 miles per hour.
We got pretty lucky on the combination that it was going to take to qualify, and being the first laps in the car this weekend, we were very happy that we were able to run that quick.
Well, qualifying went for us not like we would have liked for it to. We had a lot of problems with the handling of the car, and we did took the best shot we could, we thought, and wound up third, I think, on the starting lineup. And it's not bad, but that's not what we had hoped for.
My team is making the necessary changes to the car for the race. From third starting place, I'll have both Penske cars in my sights. So stay tuned as we get ready for the green flag.
Lap about to get underway, and on the pole, Tom Sneva. In the first row on the outside, Mario Andretti. In the second row on the inside, Johnny Rutherford in car number 4. Next to him, Danny Ongais in car number 25, the Interscope car. Third row, Al Unser on the inside, fourth, John Cook on the outside. Fourth row, Wally Dollenbach and Spike Gelhausen. And the fifth row, A.J. Foyt, watching for him to make his move, and Steve Krisloff. On the base lap, everybody looking good. The starter's looking them over, and they're watching for that green as they come onto the straightaway. The starter's taking his time. He's watching them carefully. We're watching for that green. We got it racing at Ontario Motor Speedway. It's underway. And it looks like Steva's had a little problem. Steva's dropped back. Andretti pulls out the front. Gaius dives to the inside and takes second. But Andretti has got the lead, and a good lead in this first lap. Andretti opening up about a 2-second spread over Ongais. Ongais pushing hard, trying to catch it. So Andretti, right here in the first stages, is setting the pace, and he's the man to watch. And watching Ongais try to pour it on. And Ongais is doing so. Now 1.5 second spread lead now. 1.5 seconds. Ongais picking up a half a second on Andretti. Andretti watching those preview mirrors in the front of that speed track at the same time. Andretti flawlessly going through his turn. The same line he took through qualifying. The fastest line at better than 200 miles per hour. And it looks like Steve is getting his act together now. Whatever his problem was at the beginning of the race, Steve is moving up, and Foyt is pouring it on too. Foyt is moving up through the back. So don't forget about A.J. Foyt. He is moving up through there, and so is Tom Sneva. But all eyes right now back to the front of the back with Mario Andretti trying to fight off a charge by Danny Ongais, and Ongais forces it on down the back straightaway. A half a second spread, just a half a second spread between Andretti and Ongais. It was 2 seconds, and Ongais has made it up. Ongais is really putting the pressure on Andretti now. Andretti onto the front straight with Ongais right on his tail through turn 1. And it looks like we've got a car coming out. Oh, tough break for Jordan Johncock. Johncock pulling into the bits, out of power. And that is a serious situation in this stage. It looks like we've lost Johncock for this race. Tough break. Andretti now with his hands full with Ongais right on his tail. Andretti, a little bit of smoke coming out of the back of that car. It could be an indication of problems we've done, but we don't see it now. A slight misshift because Andretti is still circulating his track at record time, and Ongais right on his tail. Johnny Rutherford is in third place now. It is Johnny Rutherford, and he's sitting back there waiting for a mistake. He's pouring it on. Everybody is keeping an eye on those top 3 cars. It's Andretti, Ongais, and Rutherford, and time for a pit stop. And our first man in, your leader, Mario Andretti, in car number 7. Now watch this fourth in motion. This crew knows every move, every man has his assignment. Get him in and get him out quickly. Don't make any mistakes at the same time. They're not doing it. Look how cool they are, and yet how quick. 16.9 seconds coming up on it. They've done it under 17 seconds of pit stop, and that is going to keep Andretti right in contention. Andretti back out on the track and up to full speed. Pouring down that raceway with Ongais, Rutherford, and Andretti setting the pace. Foyt moving up into contention now, and Sneva looking very strong. It's about time for these cars to start coming in, and we have Sneva pulling into this now. Reminding these cars get less than 2 miles per hour per gallon, so fuel and tires, an extremely important factor. We're looking at a 200-mile race. What's happening down here? Steva's ready to go, but the pit steward's holding him up. They're gesturing him. Now he's gone. There's about 30 seconds there. And Penske is jumping up and down. He's hollering at the pit steward. For some reason, Sneva was held up. We're waiting for a report now, and boy, it's been too bad. We're getting a report. Yes, Sneva was penalized 30 seconds in the pits for passing the pace car on a previous caution lap, or at least that's what we think it is. And it looks like it's snake pit time for the Penske crew because Andretti has just pulled off into the infield. Andretti with a smoking engine coasting to a stop, and that's in the infield. It looks like it's all over for Mario Andretti, and that means that Tom Sneva, the whole load of this race is on his shoulder. It's up to Steve now to carry that Penske crew to victory, and he has really got a tough time doing it. He's running in a backup car. He had a bad start, but he has really moved up to the field, so keep your eye on Tom Steve. Johnny Rutherford in car number 4, now in the lead. Ongais running second, and Rutherford looking very smooth. It's been a rough year for Rutherford. Right now, he can smell that checker, but he's got a long ways to go. Johnny Rutherford and Ongais has been playing the spoiler in this thing, with Ongais on the leader's tail around this track, right on top of him. Ongais likes to be in front, so look for him to make his move. He's doing it now. Ongais picked up Rutherford's draft and makes a beautiful dive, and Rutherford's got smoke coming out of the back of his car. Rutherford, and there's a flame. Rutherford looks like he's blown his engine. Johnny Rutherford, chasing that checker, beating his race, is out of it. Rutherford coming into the pits now, smoking badly. What a tough season this has been for a great competitor. Now, Danny Ongais, who's been sitting back there in second place behind Andretti, right behind Rutherford, has taken over the lead. And as you know, once Ongais gets the lead, he's a hard man to get. He knows no speed, but flat out, and that is what he's doing around this track now. Danny Ongais, who was in the second row on the outside. And we look over at Johnny Rutherford. Rutherford is being pushed into the pits. As Rutherford gets pushed into the pits, Ongais in the lead. A tough break for Johnny Rutherford. Working lap number 62 in the lead. Danny Ongais. Unser running second, Steve a third. And we've got Unser coming in the pits. It's about time for these cars to pull in, take off fuel, and check the tires. Less than 2 miles per hour per gallon, you've got to get that fuel in and get back out there. A 200-mile race, and your second-place car now in the pits, and it's taking some time, but they are working fast. Yes, they're changing tires. That always costs you time. We've got the clock on him. It looks like it's going to be a 15.8 seconds for Unser. A little slower than we'd like to go. Okay, we said it was pit time, and it is, so keep an eye on those pits. As we see in the pits now, Danny Ongais in car number 25. He's your leader. They've got to get him out fast. Your second-place car is already on the track. The Big I team working on him. A beautiful pit stop, just 12.6 seconds. And here comes your third-place car. It's Tom Sneva in the pits in that backup car that's been running like it was the lead car all day long. Tom Sneva in the pits. They're working fast, and this time there's no steward in front of him. I'm sure they've already forgotten about the incident. They won't when this race is over. But right now, all they're concentrating on is getting back out there, and it's a 12.6 seconds. That's stop for Tom Sneva. They are doing a beautiful job, and this is what makes the race too. The crew cooperation and the driver out there on the track. And we're seeing that combination here in 200 miles of blistering speeds, track records falling by the wayside. As your leader is Danny Ongais. A.J. Foyt has moved into fourth, but he's run out of time. It's Ongais in the lead. Sneva running second, headed for that checkered flag. This is the last lap. Danny Ongais can smell victory. He's going down that straightaway checkered flag. Danny Ongais has won the Ontario 200 with Tom Sneva finishing second, Al Unser third. Boy, what a race we've seen here today. Yes, sir, USAC.
Danny Ongais was our Rookie of the Year in 1977. Now he can turn in his rookie stripes for good. We'll be back with an Ontario wrap-up after this.
To win all their races, but none of us can do that. The important thing after defeat is to pick yourself up and keep going. All Team McLaren and I can do now is get ready for the next one. Next week, we'll look at another kind of motor racing and see what it's like being one of the racers.